boost their defenses. That contradicts itself, folks. So, all right, let's break this down real fast. What he's done is going to piss off Russia, because Russia was basically the sole military supplier to Vietnam. So now, the Vietnamese can buy from the United States, so Russia's not going to be happy about that. Now it's also going to boost up the Vietnamese military, so these guys supposedly can go toe-to-toe with China. I guess Obama forgot that in Vietnam, the Chinese supplied over 320,000 troops to the Vietnamese to fight the United States. So to me, it's a Pandora's box. And this is going to blow up in our face. But people don't want to hear that. They don't want to know about that. They want to know what's going on with Hollywood. They want to know what's going on with their TV shows, sports. We have to be able to change people's mindsets so that they start caring again. Caring about freedom, about this nation. You see, that's where change is going to come in. That's where making a difference is going to come in. Nobody else is going to do this for us. And that has become society's favorite fallback. Let somebody else do it. Huge example is the gang violence and the knockout game that these guys play. You can go all over YouTube, find the videos that they put up, and you will see a ton of people watching, hell, videoing, not helping. Well, to me, that makes those people just as guilty. It's not somebody else's job to step up for you. It's not somebody else's job to stand up for you. That's your job. That's your accountability. Do what's right. Man, in today's world, that's all but disappeared. Do what's right. I just don't understand what the hell's wrong with people in today's world where they've become so lazy, so entitled. Our government actually is to blame, but people don't even want to recognize what is really going on. And that's where we come in, man. We have to be able to wake people up.
Hello. In the traditional motion picture story, the villains are usually defeated. The ending is a happy one. I can make no such promise for the picture you're about to watch. The story isn't over. You and the audience are part of the conflict.
More human beings were slaughtered in the 20th century than in all previous centuries combined.
We're talking a congressional record, 135 million dead.
Their entire purpose was to detach our culture from any moral anchors whatsoever.
You look at the changes in America since 1960, perhaps. The whole culture's been transformed.
They're coming out of the belief that the village should raise the child. And the village means the government.
They have deliberately destroyed the American family, understanding that's the foundational block that builds a society.
We've come from Norman Rockwell's America to Hugh Hefner's America.
If we lose the Judeo-Christian framework, we're lost forever.
While the USA goes around the world expounding on the virtues of its way of life, it is obvious that those in charge place little value on human life. They are willing to kill thousands, even millions, for profit, for power, for money, for oil and resources. The USA doesn't even value the lives of its own citizens. Witness the numerous testings of weapons, drugs, medications, pesticides, GMOs, subterfuge on its own population. One of the few developed nations that fails its citizens totally in the area of the right to adequate health care. Those who cannot afford it do not get it. Financially, mentally, and physically robbed by politicians, banksters, and industry without the capacity to understand how to care for themselves, they end up homeless on the street, begging for money, being robbed, being beaten, being hungry, committing crimes because they have no choice. Then there are the families. The lives of these families are becoming pure hell. There is violence, destruction, and threats. An all-out attack from the health system, the government, law enforcement, and even neighbors.
The state itself is ultimate. If there's no law higher than the state, and if there's no law higher than the state, there's no appeal against it.
They're training them for the collective, and a collective mindset and a dependency mindset.
And it seems that they, again, want to have people be uneducated, so then they do become wards of the state. They're dependent on the government to provide everything for them.
So, meet the mentally ill of the USA and the victims of the many who go without being cared for. Meet the disposable people. The political pundits and politicians have started a mantra about gun control in order to gain more control over the population. It's not the guns, stupid. It's the lack of care for your own people. It is suggested that the USA get its own house in order before dictating to the rest of the world. Use the many blessings and resources of the land, the people, for your own, and not for trotting around the globe, killing others for profit, whilst those at home suffer. The capitalist system sees people as a disposable commodity, to be thrown out if not productive or useful in some way. The American dream. You have to be asleep to believe it.
Once people figure it out, they're going to do what people everywhere do. They're going to start protesting, and they're going to start revolting. And when that happens, that's when the powers that be feel threatened, and they use the power that they have.
Meet the USA's disposable people. Oil soaked and fracked. Food poisoned. Inoculated by tainted vaccines. Fukushima radiation. Trapped by mainstream media propaganda. Spied upon by government. Impoverished. Murdered. A homeless empire created by and destroyed by the U.S. military-industrialist complex. Treated like garbage. promulgated by the same shady cast of characters responsible for embroiling us in the endless war on terror in the first place. Americans, the disposable people.
So how does that make people feel? I mean, think about it. Why in the world are people not pissed off about being treated this way by our own government? You know, if we had a government that was still by the people, for the people, we would be working. We'd be working together. We'd be finding solutions for our own homeless, for our economy. We would be finding solutions for a better tomorrow. But they're not. Instead, they're hell-bent on creating a big brother that is seriously based around socialism and communism. They don't give a shit about you, me, or anybody else except themselves. We're nothing but cattle. Look at the way the VA treats the very people that defend the United States, that defend our rights, our freedoms, our liberties. Look at the way they treat them. It's pathetic. But people don't care because it doesn't interfere with their little bubble. We are faced with a time where we are getting ready to square off in another world war. And people truly believe it will not affect them. It will not affect the United States. It won't come here. You are fucking insane. This is the only life we get. There's no do-overs. What we create in this world is what we leave for our children tomorrow. And not caring means we're leaving them a world of destruction, of hate, poverty. How's that okay with anybody? When are people going to start giving a fuck about what's going on in our very own nation? When are people going to decide that they want to have ethics and principles and morals and actually make a stand? Stick up for something. Someone who lives afraid. Someone who's afraid of conflict. Someone who's afraid of a simple argument or even just confrontation. Then you are a coward. Standing up for what is right is truly one of the hardest things you can do, because you are going to be part of the minority. You are going to be blasted for your beliefs. You're damn right there will be confrontations and conflict. That comes with the territory of being somebody that has ethics, has a moral compass, lines that cannot be crossed, will not be crossed. One of the things that I love about our older generations they're still not afraid to bust somebody in the mouth if they deserve